What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to another episode of Wait for the Hook, where we talk to you guys' favorite independent artists, and if they're not yet, they're soon to be. On today's episode, we speak to Maryland-based R&B singer Kenzo Cole. He is an acquaintance of mine and a very talented upcoming singer-songwriter. Hope you enjoy.
I definitely, I had a very loose upbringing in music. My father was always a choir director, always played the piano, but I never was really like in the choir or anything like that. And then in high school, I was in the choir for like 2 years though. So it wasn't like a long time that I was doing much, but I always knew that like I wanted to do more than just like the singing thing. I really wanted to do the songwriting and like listening to lyrics on music is always something that just like a good lyric always made me like just hit me in the soul. So I was like, I want to just be able to do that. I don't even care. Like, so for the songwriting and stuff like that, maybe I would, write things down that I thought were a good idea. I would, I did a lot of writing. I definitely did that. Maybe would even record song ideas on my voice notes, but I had like, I had like a HP, like a old slow ass HP, so I couldn't do anything on that if I wanted to. Um, I didn't really have any equipment or anywhere to, go to even start to like trying to like, fish these ideas out. So that the whole microphone I've never even been in a physical studio quite yet. For me, my process is definitely beat first. And things don't come. Sometimes something comes to you right here, and that's the idea, and that ends up being the song. And sometimes I got to spend a lot of time with the beat. I got to really feel like I would, because I never want to write something that's just like I'm not really talking about nothing. I mean, sometimes some songs are fun where you're just talking shit, just off the dome. But I always want to kind of be intentional with what I'm saying in my music, because for me, it's also the kind of a release as well. So I want to be able to say this thing in this way, and sometimes it takes time to come to that. So I'll probably have listened to the beat for some time, and then I'll know what it sounds like, and then I'll be going throughout my day or whatever, and I'll just be thinking about it, and then I'm like, okay, I'm thinking about this right now. I'll go ahead and type it down in the notes really fast and think about it, and then so songwriting it is kind of really a process for me, and it takes some time for sure because I want to be like intentional with what I'm saying. The stages wasn't we didn't initially come out and say we're going to do a project. Like it just we were making I was writing the songs to them, and it seemed like there was recurring themes, and it just seemed like okay, we can make this a project instead of like a bunch of like singles. So then stages was kind of like honestly the classic stages of a relationship, the you're pissing me off stage, that I want to get to know you stage, the this stage, that. And when I visualized like what I want the cover art to look like, I just said I want like I just want Black queer wedding, like very like intimate, small, like looking kind of wedding. I personally knew the director, Edmund Savage. He was a friend at Towson, and I had already graduated, and I was just kind of just doing the music thing, and he reached out to me and said, I'm doing this short film, on a young Black queer man, has mystical powers, all that. And I was like, you're asking me to do a song for your movie? Like, I know I just put out a project, but I'm not the shit just yet. So I was definitely like, oh, okay. But the way he really did trust that we would make something great. And then we ended up, doing that felt really like great. I honestly feel like sometimes I feel like that was a bigger moment to me than releasing stages. But I feel like stages was the hump for me to get over that first little artistic like installment. You got to put that out there and then get to the next things. But that felt like a really huge deal to me. Like next 5 years, I definitely see myself getting really established as an artist. I think this is going to take a lot of time and a lot of dedication and a lot of learning too. Because again, I'm honestly doing the self-training thing. I'm doing, the independent route. You're doing the self-training, you're doing the songwriting, you're doing the audio engineering for the most part, until you go ahead and decide to get into a studio. But I also have a lot of equipment on my own, so I am kind of DIYing a lot of my music. But definitely feel like I'm working towards getting a more polished sound, becoming more established, and just definitely putting out more projects. I don't think I'm a single kind of person. I would definitely do singles, covers, but I really like projects. And so hopefully in 5 years, maybe I'll have done two more, and then maybe an album, you know, whatever the journey takes me. I just want to keep growing and developing as an artist, especially vocally. I definitely say it's not easy at all. It's definitely not easy, but when you have a vision, you should definitely stick to it until you see it come to fruition. Like, and even if it takes forever, because Stages was originally supposed to come out in like June of last year, but then the pandemic hit, and Jaden and I were graduating, and I was about to move, and like all these many things, like even when all these other deterrents are coming your way, like don't forget to like surrender to your vision. Like, that's your vision, and it's not coming from nowhere. It's coming from a place where like this is being instilled in you, and you know, however you're able to put in just bring what you have to the table. You don't have to have trained for 12 years. You don't have to have anything. All you have to do is just have the desire to see a vision come to fruition, and you can figure it out. So just stick with it for sure. You can definitely find me on Instagram at by3 Kenzo. So it's just by Kenzo, but with a three. Um, Twitter, you can find me on Kenzo Cole, but the KENN Kenzo Cole, so two N's. And then my music is on every streaming platform. You can hit that link in the bio on either of those two social media sites. And yeah, I'm on Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, and just search Kenzo Cole if you don't have any social media.